How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Mullen Automotive, which was down 2.94% on the Friday. So I know many people are going to be having questions. They saw, you know what, the market sold off tremendously, but Mullen was still able to hold up key support levels. We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis from Mullen. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $1.32, being down 2.94%. On the low, it tested $1.28, and then on the high, testing $1.45. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 34.423 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 70.855 million shares. So we had well below the average in regards to volume, and we've seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 35. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Mullen is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. And if you guys remember what we've been talking about, would it be able to hold up support? And you know what? It's doing exactly that. We tested the low of $1.28. Do keep in mind the most recent low was at $1.25. Remember before we were talking about 133 and wanting that to hold. And then after we got down to 125 and now we are holding 128. So as far as for the coming week, you're going to want to see a continuation of this because at some point we should look forward to seeing a strong pop. We ended up seeing a high today at $1.45, which was higher than the previous day. So if this momentum does continue, we'd want to see Mullen get to at least a 21-day EMA, which is at $1.81. Getting to this level could give us an indication that there could be a turnaround, and then we'd want to see it gain some more steam as it goes to $2. But do note, this will be an area where I could see some selling pressure, so that's why you want to make sure you have a strategy if you're going to be taking an entry at these current levels. Now, if it breaks through 128, then the next area of support, which we have spoken about, is around $1.15. And if that breaks, the next area is around $1.03, but we just want to see $1 hold up. That would be the most interesting. If the market continues to sell off, that's why I'm giving you guys what it looks like on the downside. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information from Mullen. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for the 29th, we have Focused Wealth Management Inc. that purchased 1,000 shares, and all of the previous filings we've already gone through already. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 29.15%, and in the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 6 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 5.3 million, updated 20 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 4.56%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 28th, it is at 25.32, and then for the close of the 29th, being at 29.15. So we do see a significant increase right there, and what that shows us alongside with the short interest percentage percentage of the float being at 14.95%, Mullen does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution from Mullen. So we see here on the inflow, it is at 12.05 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 9.33 million. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 1.10. On the medium, it was 8.17, and then on the small, it was 2.78. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0.59 million. On the medium, it was 5.91, and then on the small, it was 2.83. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for April the 29th, we had that inflow of 0.51 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, you could see that we had more selling than we had buying. No surprises due to the conditions. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then taking a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 12.09%. So you know what? This is not too bad for a volatile stock like Mullen. There are many who are holding on to their position, but it does grab the attention of traders. But we also have to understand, as far as volume is concerned of what we've seen in the past, it has gone down quite a bit. Now let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Mullen, when it comes to the price action, like I was saying in my previous videos, it is very key for Mullen to get to at least $1.81. If it could hold this area, I feel more bulls would want to come in, and then we could push this stock to $2. This will be very key. Now, if we end up having some weakness in the markets going into Monday and we break through support levels, and let me go over the support very quickly. Remember, we were saying we wanted to see support hold up at $1.33. That did not end up happening, and we ended up coming down to $1.25. And then on the Friday, we ended up showing support at $1.28. So we did form a higher low. So if we want to see continued strength, then we have to make sure that we hold at least above $1.30 on Monday. If that does not happen, then there's a potential chance we could break through that 128. Then we want to see if 125 can hold. If 125 does not hold, then the next area of support you want to look out for, especially to see if bulls want to step in, is at $1.15. And then the next level behind 115 is around $1.03. So please add that to your homework. We want to see bulls stepping in. We want to see demand in the market when Mullen is trading at those low prices. If we don't see bulls wanting to step in, that's why the stock can pull back even further. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we do see one filing, but we don't see a lot compared to other stocks that we talk about on this channel. Good examples of that are Lucid and so forth, but again, these stocks are mainly owned by institutions. In this case for Mullen, that is not the case. It is mainly owned by retail investors. And then taking a look at the short interest information, Mullen does continue to have short squeeze potential. But here's the thing, we need to have buying pressure coming into the play. We need that above average volume coming in. The volume has been dying down, and if we see a continuation of this, at some point, those support levels I spoke about are just going to break, and the stock is going to continue to be on a decline. So that's why I'm looking for this week that Jerome Powell comes out in that FOMC meeting and says, well, you know what? We're going to be sticking with the 50 basis point hike. This will bring a rally back into the market, give investors more confidence to put money into plays. And this will be the interesting point. If Mullen does not move when we get that good news, then it would be a big time concern, because then we know as far as demand is concerned, it is just not there for this stock, and that's where I'd start going full out bearish on the play. So add this to your homework and as well as your due diligence. This is very crucial, especially for volatile stocks like Mullen. But we do know there are further catalysts that we need to look forward to. I've talked about that many times on this channel already. So if you are an investor, of course, you're going to be taking advantage if the stock is pulling back. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs on Monday. We'll be talking real soon.